Welcome to my channel. Actually, I don't have a channel, but I thought I'd make a video anyways because I had a problem with my washing machine here and ended up having to pull it all apart and put it all back together, and ended up with these and realized I had missed two little screws here. Put it back together and realized that I'd probably have to take it all apart anyways again to find out where these missing screws are from. But then that got me thinking that you know, I kind of leveraged a whole bunch of YouTube videos to figure out what the hell was wrong with my washing machine in the first place, and couldn't find this exact model on YouTube, and kind of thought, well, hey, this is a great opportunity to show people how I kind of troubleshot through the problems and figured out what was wrong and ultimately was able to fix it. So yeah, we're got a Whirlpool washing machine. It's a what is it? WFC7500VW. And issue I was having a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a couple of months ago. Went through a wash cycle and the wash cycle finished and the clothes were soaking wet, and so really it kind of seemed like it didn't go through the spin cycle. So hopped on the internet, and the first thing was, well, you know, your drain might be plugged, and so I opened up the drain and couldn't find anything, and so I ended up having to open up the whole thing. And like anything, I started from the back and opened up the back and realized that actually all the drainage was at the front, and so I closed up the back and sort of opened up the front, looked at the drain, realized there was $3 stuck in the drain pipe, toonie and a loony, and so I took those out and put it all back together, and it started working again. You know, the spin cycle was working, and the clothes were relatively dry after the finish of the wash cycle, and so a couple of weeks later, a couple of days ago, the same problem kind of reared its ugly head, and the wash cycle finished. The towels were sopping wet, and so it didn't go through a spin cycle, and so I was kind of scratching my head. I was thinking, well, is there something in the drain filter? And I checked that. There was nothing in the drain filter. So I ended up pulling the whole thing apart. I looked at the drain hoses, and there was no blockages in the drain hoses, and I was kind of stumped. And then I realized that there's a water level sensor, and there's kind of like a trap associated with that water level sensor, and ended up realizing that that thing was all plugged up and with just gunk, and so I washed it out, put it all back together, and it works again. So here's my video. I want to show you guys how to kind of take things apart and how easy it is. All you really need is a Phillips screwdriver to do all this work. So it's kind of it's encouraging to realize that this is a do-it-yourself project. It's actually really easy to do, and once you get the thing open, it's relatively simple to look at, you know, or diagnose the problem. And so here we go. I'll show you what to do. Well, the first thing you got to do is get the top panel off. The top panel has got 3 screws in the back. 2 are, you know, to secure the dryer. On top is a stackable unit, and there's a center screw that you need to take out, and then the panel slides back and you can lift it up and off. Alright, once you get the top panel off, then you have to kind of get yourself down low and start working for the bottom. And I'll show you how to do that and how to access the drain trap. And that's really the drain trap's the first thing that you kind of got to look at to diagnose your problems with drainage and the drain pump. So let me just lower this tripod here and get you guys down to that level. Alright. That looks okay. So you can see there's a little seam here at the bottom. All you got to do to get that little chunk of panel off at the bottom is to grab both sides and to kind of give it a good pull, and it just kind of pops off. There's these little catches here at the top and the bottom, so you just need to kind of get those loosened up. And you can see right in the corner here is the drain trap plug. Best thing to do here is to get a towel. If I got one. Because as soon as you loosen that thing up, there's all this residual water left in the drain pipe that is going to come gushing out. So best thing to do is kind of catch that. So you want to shove your towel nice and far underneath and give that a good counterclockwise turn, and then the water starts draining out. You don't want to do it too fast. Give it some towel to soak that stuff up. Close it up and pull that out. Do a little bit of a switcheroo here, and then open it back up. Be too much water in it, but it's definitely going to soak a towel. So get the corner here, put it back up, and we're pretty much at the end. So this is what the plug looks like. You kind of just need to reach your fingers in there. There's a little propeller from the pump, and you can kind of feel around and check if there's anything kind of lodged in there that would prevent the water from draining out. Well, in this case, there's nothing in there because I've checked it already, but that's how you check the drain trap. So you just throw that thing back in there and screw it back in. Hand tight is good enough. Just dry that up a little bit because we gotta get in here. Alright, so now in order to get access to the insides, you got to take off. There's a top panel here with all the controls on it. There's the panel that's on the door here, and first thing you got to do is unscrew the screws at the top of the control panel here. There's two just in behind this this panel here. Oh, well, actually, I just found out where I forgot to put screws back in, because this panel actually isn't secured, and that's where my 2 missing screws are supposed to be screwed in. So the next thing to do is to take out the soap dispenser here, and so you pull it out, and there's a little blue tab in the back, and you just need to depress that and then keep on pulling, and that thing comes right out. Now there's 3 screws here within that soap dispenser panel that you need to loosen up. So let's get at those and unscrew them so that they're loose. And oh yeah, so there's a little catch clip on the other side of the panel here on the inside, and so you just need to you know, similar to this blue little tab here, you just need to depress it, and the panel comes right off. So gently just lay that panel. You know, it's got a bunch of wires connected to it, so it can't move too far, but just gently put that panel on the top, and make sure that you don't lose any of those 3 screws that you've undone. The next step that you got to do is you got to take off the door, and the door's again really easy to remove. It's only got 2 screws on it, and so you take out the screws. Side, and then you just lift up on the door gently and pull it off. So that is super easy. Now the panel needs to come off before you can get access to what it is you need to look at in terms of the drain pipes and pumps and the air level sensor trap and blah blah blah. So the gasket here around the drum has a wire clamp around it, but it's only spring loaded, so you just kind of need to pull on the spring and loosen it off. And it's got 2 little round circles on the end of the spring that you can kind of, you know, get a pair of needle nose pliers into and get some leverage. So gently pry this off, and you can get the pliers around and just slide them up, and off comes your little clamp there for the gasket. Now just pull gently on this gasket and it kind of comes off. It's got a little lip around the side here, or the edge. So just take it off the lip and then just kind of push it into the inside so that it's out of the way. Now we got to take the panel off, and the panel has got 2 screws on the top and 3 screws on the bottom. That's not. All right, so we got the 5 screws off. Now we can take the panel off, and again, this panel has got some electrical cords attached on the right hand side here. So you can't take it all the way off, but you can take it off enough so that you can kind of take a look inside at what you need to see. So let's try that now. And you just need to lift it slightly. I got one side. And we got 2 sides. Alright, so now we're inside. We can look at the guts of what's going on here. Let me just grab the camera here and show you guys what it looks like. So I'm just going to do a switcheroo here. Can I do a switcheroo? Anyways, so what are we looking at here? Here we've got the drain hose. I do have a flashlight. Hold on. Let's see if we can get a flashlight in there. So here, this thing here is the drain hose, and it's got some clamps on it. So you can kind of squeeze this thing, feel if there's anything inside of it that is really, you know, lodged in it, to see if there's anything blocking the water draining. And then here's your trap, the piece that I pulled out. And then the top pipe here is the drain out to the outside of the unit and into the actual drain. Now, so, you know, that's how you look at blockages in the drain. But the problem with that I had is with the spin cycle, and so the unit that we are concerned with here is this white piece here. This is the water level sensor trap, I guess. That's the best description I can use for it. But it's got a hose coming out of it here, this black hose, and it goes up here to your water level sensor. And if it's working properly, you should be able to take this hose off. And if you blow in it, if you listen carefully, you'll hear a clicking noise. But I'll show you what the problem was. Let me just get this camera back up on the tripod for you guys. All right. So I'm going to take that part off for you and kind of give you an idea of what was wrong with it. So it's got 2 small screws in it. You know, your Phillips screwdriver fits. I'm not sure if it's the exact right head for it, but it works. There's a couple of wires that run through it too, and you kind of want to be gentle when you take this thing off, because you don't want to damage any of those wires. There's a couple of guides where the wires run around this part, and so you kind of want to be careful how you take this thing off. But let's get the screws undone. Alright, so once you get the screws undone, put them in a safe place, the unit just pulls right out, but again, be gentle because of those wires. So gently pull it out, and we're just gonna take the wires off, and I'll show you the piece up close. Alright, so this is what the piece looks like. Once you remove it, this piece goes in to the washer drum, and it allows air to go through it, and then that hose that I blew into comes off of this piece here. But if you look at it, Now this is kind of much better. Let me get that flashlight again, and maybe we can give you guys an idea of what the problem was. But if you kind of that doesn't work. If you look carefully, there's a bunch of crap in it basically, and there was a lot more before I cleaned this out. So I took this to the tap and I ran super hot water under it, and I was shaking it out and cleaning it all out, and actually right at this these parts where it goes into the drum there were kind of all gunked up with crap, and so I cleaned it all out, and that was the issue. So yeah, super easy to take off. Just be really careful of those wires. So I'll put this unit back together, and then we can call this video done. So the unit goes back on same way it came off. Just be careful and get those wires into the same spots around the guides and the housing. Alright, once you got the unit back on, then you obviously have to attach that hose again. Make sure that it gets seated on there properly. Okay, we got that back in place. You know, this gives you a good idea of you know, what you can fix from the front side of the unit. You know, the drum drive is all kind of stuff that's located in the back, the belt and whatnot. But you know, basically the drainage and the electrical and the sensors are all kind of located up at the front here. And so if you need to look into issues regarding those, start with the front and not the back. Okay, the panel here goes on first, and basically you've got two little holes that these screws here hook into, and those are the only two things that hold this panel on before you can secure it with the screws. Alright, so you get a good foot in there, hold it in place, and then we can start securing it with screws. Try to get them in straight. That's always very, very helpful. Alright, those things are on nice and tight. You can go to the gasket, you can pull it out, and you kind of position it back onto that lip. Just a bit of finicky. You'll know when you got it right. There's nothing sticking up. It sits nice and flat and flush. But it just takes a little bit of coaxing to get it into the right spot. Once you get it in the right spot, you take your spring clamp here again and you just fit it on. And again, you can take your needle nose pliers, you can kind of get it into the hole here and fit it around. Ouch. Alright, that's on nice and tight. Now you can put the door back on. So the door just hooks in there. Hangs, and you want to get the right screws. They're different than the panel screws. Make sure you get those in nice and tight so you don't have a wobbly door and it shuts proper. Alright, door's back on. That fits pretty good. Now, fitting the panel, the control panel back on, you do want to make sure that, hold on, let me get this right. You do want to make sure that it slides in nicely with the dispenser housing here properly, because if it doesn't line up properly, you're gonna have problems sliding your soap dispenser drawer in and out. So make sure that this lip here slides into the panel properly as you fit it back on. All right, worked out good. So you just secure these three screws in here. Alright, that looks good. Now the missing screws go right on the inside here, on the inside lip. You'll see why they need to go here. Attaches the panel onto the frame of the washer. Alright, once you get that all figured out, you can slide your drawer back in and it should be nice and easy, which it is. And then your base plate can go down, line these two catches at the bottom, and then just snap it in place. Easy peasy. And the last thing to do is get your lid at the top, and you just lay it down and slide it back into place. And you secure it with the screw. And that's it. So thanks for watching my video, and you know, as they say, smash that like button, or follow me, I guess. Probably, you know, if I get some good response here, I'll probably show some other videos if I have broken shit around the house, or just want to show you guys what I'm up to. So have a great day. Ciao.